He was a god, and he was a...
Boy.
Can I make it any more obvious? Santa Monica Studios' 2018 PS4 exclusive, God of War, is the 8th game in the God of War trilogy and the sequel to God of War 3. But don't get it mixed up with God of War. Confused yet? 'Cause I sure as hell am. God of War is undoubtedly deserving of its reputation as one of the finest games of its generation. With slick graphics that push the capabilities of the PS4, fluid combat mechanics, and a touching story. But what the hell is it all about? You play as Kratos, a sweaty Greek gym bro deity with the emotional range of a brick, who got bored of casual patricide in the Mediterranean and moved to the Norse realm of Midgard to freeze his balls off and have a son called
Boy.
who seemingly has no idea that his daddy is anything other than human. The game starts off at a gentle enough pace, with you and Atreus cutting down some firewood to bring home. Upon returning to your log shack though, it's revealed that Atreus' mother has turned herself into a burrito while you were gone. It'd be a shame to waste good food though, so you pop on the oven to warm her through, but unfortunately there's some sort of malfunction and she turns into ashes, rendering her totally inedible. There's only one sensible thing to do at this point, which is to complain to the manager, who lives at the top of the tallest peak in all the realms, because of course they fucking do. Can't you just call their help desk or something instead? At this point in the proceedings, you're rudely interrupted by a knock on the door. Upon opening it, you're faced with this angry Conor McGregor moonlighting in a hardcore band looking motherfucker, who gives you some incredibly vague reasons as to his visit before squaring up to fight. You, being an all-wise ancient god, use all of your knowledge and experience to punch him in his stupid face. Do you even lift, bruh?
You would not listen.
Well, turns out he actually does lift. So you face off against each other in a furious fight. The stranger is clearly strong and seemingly can't be killed, so you finish things off with the old giant rock on the head trick. GG, etc. Only, it isn't, because this motherfucker swiftly returns your rock to sender and then lubes up for round 2. This time, you realise the recklessness of your previous strategy, so you adopt the more subtle approach of choking him out and throwing him off a cliff. It's not sexual though, I promise. Things have obviously gone south quicker than your mum in a field of dicks, so you head back home where you retrieve the annoying child thing from the cellar and make your escape. Home clearly is no longer safe, so the only option is to head onwards up the mountain to find that manager. As you make your way towards the mountain, you discover that some selfish bastard irresponsibly left a load of monsters and puzzles everywhere, so you take care of them swiftly and definitely don't spend 10 minutes running around trying to figure out what to do like the meathead you are. Further along your path, you have an emotional moment with the boy-child thing and meet Brock, a grumpy smurf who says, "I knew your wife," like that's not gonna bother you or something, before giving your axe a cheeky little upgrade. What a guy. Time for a spot of lunch since the burrito was such a disaster, so you and Boy go off to catch some bacon for a sandwich. Mini-Human shoots a boar, but it escapes, so you chase after it, emerging into a clearing to find the Witch of the Woods, a crazy-haired, sage-burning, crystal-worshipping, shampoo-avoiding hippie chick, who is a little bit distressed about you shooting her best friend. Hey, don't look at me, lady, it was that little shit over there. You head back to Witchy Woo's house to heal the boar, and while Boy is collecting some healing herbs from the garden, she gives you some words of advice about not hiding the boy's true nature from him, which is about as well received by you as a handshake full of shit. You heal the boar, Crazy Yoga Lady draws some protective symbols on you both to aid you in your journey, and you make your way onwards towards the Lake of Nine. On your way, you figure out, with the help of your small skin pet, that the stranger from earlier is in fact Baldur, son of Odin, king of the gods, before you throw your axe into the lake in order to raise a giant serpent from its slumber like it's morning wood or something. The world serpent growls something at you that probably means "fuck off, I was having the best dream," and then lowers the water level in the lake, revealing Tyr's temple and the path up to the mountain. You stop briefly for a quick chat with Mr. Happy Happy Joy Joy, and then make your way up the mountain, meeting Brock's brother for the first time, a quivering bag of nerves and OCD called Sindri, who cons you into thinking he's improved your axe by literally just wiping a bit of dirt off it. Onwards and upwards you go, hitching a ride on the Ogre Express until your path is blocked by some idiot hitting fat vapes right in your face. Probably one of those disgusting bubblegum flavoured ones too. Yuck. This is obviously an obstacle too far, even for a god like you. So cultural appropriation lady shows up and tells you the only way through is to travel to the kingdom of the elves and recover a magical light, because that's clearly easier than just trying to find another way up. You return to Tyr's temple, perform a bit of feng shui on the temple to line up its chakras properly, and then it's off to Alfheim to spank some hot elf booty. Little Miss Soap Dodger rubs some pixie dust onto Atreus' bowstring, you give the temple a quick spin, and now you're in Alfheim, and it's pretty as fuck. While you're still saying "ooh" at all the lovely colours, Witch Tits remembers she's left a vegan pasta bake in the oven and makes a swift exit, so you set out to retrieve the light. Now, if you were expecting hot sexy elf waifus, you're gonna be sorely disappointed here, cause best I can do is some angry mosquitoes. Your axe makes an excellent repellent though, so you battle your way through a succession of tough enemies towards the light. Some of them try to bad touch your mini-me, so you show off your anime signature move, fight your way up Mosquito Ridge, grab the light, do some cheap acid because why not? Fight this absolute dickhead and his explosive turds, and return to Midgard to get rid of Vape Lord Wolnir. There you go. That's my one Dark Souls reference out of the way. Happy now? With the smoke cleared, there's just the small matter of riding the elevator of death up towards the peak, throwing pop rocks at a pissed off dragon until it politely does a die, and climbing up the stone face to the top of the mountain. As you reach the top, you overhear Boulder, along with Magni and Modi, the simpering sons of Thor, talking to an unknown voice. After they leave, you climb up to discover that the voice belongs to Mimir, the wisest man in the world, who was so wise that Odin let him wear this very stylish tree. Mimir tells you that this is not in fact the highest peak in all the realms, which you could have probably guessed anyway given the fact that we're nowhere near the end of the video yet, and that you would in fact need to travel to the realm of the giants, Jotunheim, to find the manager. You haven't had any good head for a while, so you give Mimir the old neck chop, sling him over your shoulder, and head back to the witch's abode to resurrect him.
Can you bring a head back to life?
She says, "Soup'll do the trick nicely." So you give him a dunk, and he comes back to life, revealing that the witch herself is none other than the goddess Freya, former wife to Odin, who has been exiled to Midgard. Freya gets a little bit shirty with your tiny man thing because of his weed arrows, so you grab Mimir and head off to the lake to speak to Big Serpent Lad, who tells you that to reach Jotunheim, you need to find a magic sharpie and draw an equally magic squiggle onto a door. Off you fuck to find the sharpie, which is actually the tip of a dead giant's chisel, and you make your way up the elevator of death part 2, because why waste a good idea by only using it once, and maneuver your way across to the chisel tip. Unfortunately, Magni and Modi seem to have sniffed you out, so you take them both on in a savage battle of attrition, which ends with you carving up Magni's face like a boiled ham as his weedy brother runs away pissing his pants. You grab the pen you came here for and return to Tyr's temple to graffiti up the door. Inside, Modi puts in another appearance to shock you, which makes the boy manlet spontaneously combust. Modi loses his new pair of testicles just as fast as he grew them once he sees you flex your powerful godly biceps, and runs away again, so you hurry back to Freya in the hope that she can heal Atreus. Freya informs you that Atreus is sick because he does not understand that he is a god too, And then she tells you to literally go to hell and bring back some fella's heart in order to cure him, because there isn't a decent pharmacy for miles around. You trudge home and fetch your trusty blades of chaos, just so all the Kratos fanboys can masturbate themselves silly, and then it's off to hell with you. Upon arriving, you get a surprisingly frosty reception, so you burn away all the irritating obstacles in your way and go beat up a big lad called Matthew for his heart, while the Crow of Judgment gazes down at the scene in disapproving silence. Tough shit, Birdbrain, it's my heart now. So you return to Freya, who gives you some parental advice and reveals a little about her own son, and then heals Atreus, who is very sorry for being a pathetic little loser. On your way back to Tyr's temple, you finally reveal the truth to Atreus about his godhood, accidentally turning him into a spoilt little brat in the process. Before you enter the temple, negotiate various blade gauntlets, and grab the black rune that lets you travel to Jotunheim. Oh joy, now it's time to go up the friggin' mountain again. Along the way, you give alcohol to a miner, and then watch him bully a dwarf, before you run into Modi for one last time. Drunk on both his newfound power and the wine you probably shouldn't have given him earlier, Atreus turns Modi into a pincushion and beats him off. Not like that. You reach the summit once more, Boy draws some shitty art that you'd be embarrassed to pin to your fridge, and the gateway to Jotunheim is finally open. Hooray! You've completed the game! Shame that Conor McGregor prick shows up to piss on your victory lap, destroying the portal in the process before abducting Atreus with a giant dragon he just happened to have lying around. You jump on the dragon and have the epic fight with Baldur for the second time, which ends with you crash landing on the bridge to the temple. In a desperate attempt to stop him from escaping with the boy to the land of the gods, you send everyone off to hell because you're a fucking masochist, grab the boy, and try and find your way home. En route, you eavesdrop on Baldur watching a vision of himself with his own mother. Just in case you hadn't spotted this one from a mile off, ta-da! His mother is none other than Freya, and it turns out she was the one who made him invincible because she's an overprotective nervous wreck, and he hates her for it. This has all gone a little bit too soap opera for my liking, so let's rectify things by flying a giant pirate ship out of hell itself while massacring a continuous onslaught of enemies. Fuck yeah, that's more like it. On your way back, you find secret plans Tyr had made to access Jotunheim with the help of Mimir, get Brock and Sindri to kiss and make up, make a new key that you need, find Tyr's hidden chamber, flip the entire building like a giant fucking pancake, grab the Unity Stone, and yeet yourself off a ledge just because it feels like the right thing to do. Well, that was a fucking lucky guess. You've only gone and found the missing Jotunheim travel tower. One more gauntlet of death to run, because why waste a good idea by not putting it in your game at least 3 times? And the Jotunheim tower is back in its place. Yay! Can we finally finish this game, please? Nope! Because you still need one more thing. Mimir's missing eye. Brock and Sindri inform you that the snake probably ate it. So you ask him nicely if he would be awfully kind enough to let you poke around in his stomach for a bit, and he surprisingly obliges. You sail through a river of intestinal fluids, which bizarrely don't seem to cause any damage to your tiny canoe, and grab the eye. As you make your way back out of old fish guts, you hear a loud noise. Snake Lad starts heaving, and you get spewed out into the snow far from the lake. Now, don't go getting all mushy-eyed, but we're about to have a touching family reunion, as both Freya and Baldur show up to the party. Baldur squares up to Freya and threatens to kill her, but you, being a big manly man, step in the way to protect the poor defenseless woman, who also happens to be an all-powerful goddess. Ding ding! Round 3 of the Baldur extravaganza can begin, which is the same frantic punch fest as before, with the added bonus of a desperate Freya trying to restrain you both with her bondage gear. In an attempt to help you, Atreus gives Baldur some of his weed, but it turns out that Baldur can't actually handle his weed at all, so he throws a whitey and is all like,
I think we're dying.
Oh,
how much did you guys have?
I don't know, we made brownies, and I think we're dead.
Now you've discovered his one weakness, you can take advantage of him to pummel him down while his mum plays with a giant puppet in the background. After a frantic and protracted battle, you finally best the scrawny little prick, and this time you've learnt your lesson, so instead of punching him in the face some more, you show him mercy. Bad idea as it turns out, because he instantly tries to greet mum with a traditional Nordic chokehold, so it's time to stop this little bird's chirping once and for all by snapping its neck. Freya is all like, "You did a really bad thing, I'm not going to speak to you for ages now," and sulks off in a huff, but the fact that she didn't just instantly try and smite you is probably a good sign, right? I don't know, send her some flowers once she's calmed down or something. Regardless, you're all done. So finally, you can go to Jotunheim. You return to the travel room, use Mimir as a makeshift laser, and at last, and I'm not kidding this time, you're there. You head up the steps towards the peak, where you discover a shocking revelation. Your burrito wife was actually a giant burrito all along, which makes Atreus half god, half giant burrito. Wow. Didn't see that coming. Oh, also something about the giants calling him Loki. Can't believe this game has an MCU Easter egg in it. In an emotional finale, you and Boychild stand on top of the highest peak in all the realms, despite the one just behind you clearly being slightly higher, and scatter the burrito ashes in memory of your lying wife. I guess the lesson here is that you were the manager all along, or something. Well, that's it. You've completed the game. Give yourself a pat on the back and go back home and chill out, because there's definitely not going to be a final cutscene that sets up a teaser for a sequel to have you mindless industry slaves drooling for more. Oh no, look, there it is. As always guys, thanks a bunch for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.